Now, should Rishi Sunak apologise for making a transgender remark while Brianna Ghey's mother visited Parliament? 0207 862 2222. Mr Sunak is under fire after accusing Keir Starmer of being unable to define a woman minutes after the Labour leader welcomed Esther Ghey, mother of the murdered transgender teenager, to the Commons and praised her unwavering bravery. So there is Brianna's mum. The 16-year-old was fatally stabbed last February in a premeditated attack by Scarlett Jenkinson and Eddie Ratcliffe. They were only named and given life sentences on Friday. And let me just show you now what happened at Prime Minister's Questions.
But it's a bit rich, Mr. Speaker, to hear about promises from someone who's broken every single promise he was elected on. I mean, I think I counted almost 30 in the last year. Pensions, planning, peerages, public sector pay, tuition fees, childcare, second referendums, defining a woman. Although in fairness, that was only 99% of a U-turn. The list goes on, but the theme is the same, Mr. Speaker. It's empty words, broken promises, and absolutely no plan.
Of all the weeks to say that, when Brianna's mother is in this chamber, shame, parading as a man of integrity when he's got absolutely no responsibility.
Yeah, so he obviously, Sunak attacked Starmer on the policy, but it did, by implication, suggest that people who identify as female when they were born with a male body, as Brianna did, are not fully female. And Sunak then seemed to come back to it at the end of Prime Minister's Questions by paying tribute to Brianna's mum, Esther. Have a look.
To Brianna Ghey's mum, who is here, as I've said earlier this week, what happened was an unspeakable and shocking tragedy, Mr. Speaker. And as I said earlier this week, in the face of that, for her mother to demonstrate the compassion and empathy that she did last weekend, I thought demonstrated the very best of humanity in the face of seeing the very worst of humanity, and she deserves all our admiration and praise for that.
Downing Street said the comments were legitimate criticism of Labour. However, Brianna's father, Peter Spooner, has called for an apology for his degrading and dehumanising comments. What do you think about this, Mike?
Well, it's such a sad case, the whole Brianna Ghey case. When I learned about the full facts of it, and, you know, poor old Brianna was in a no man's land. You know, she was trying to seek her own identity, her own sexuality, and then she got a phone call from somebody who she thought wanted to be her friend. And she was so happy and pleased because she thought she was going to Culcath Park to meet somebody who wanted to have a day out with her and hang out with her and all that.
To buy drugs as well, but there was something underhand that was going on, yeah.
Nevertheless, she was being shown a bit of affection from somebody else who wanted to befriend her, you know. So the sheer horror of that and subsequently what happened makes it such a horrible case. Yeah. But on this incident in the Commons yesterday, I think Keir Starmer weaponised an incident which, in my mind, was clearly Rishi Sunak pointing out the error of Keir Starmer's political views, and it was not a transgender jibe.
OK, so Jess.
I think it's despicable that Sunak made this comment. To start with, it shouldn't take a murdered teenager's mother to be in the chamber for people to be in uproar. That comment shouldn't be made. You know, transgender people are some of the most vulnerable people in this country. They shouldn't be the butt of the jokes for political. This government has weaponised transgender people in culture wars, and it's just disgusting to see that. I mean,
well, they should, on the background of it, Starmer has had problems when asked, can a woman have a penis?
But when we see Sunak here, he referred to Brianna as her, she, her pronouns. So under his own admission, transgender women are women. You also just said that, Mike. You use she, her pronouns for Brianna, so you're referring to her as a woman. Yeah. So why is this? Transgender people make up 0.1% of this country, of this population. Yeah. Why are they even discussing that at PMQs?
Well, I guess the answer is not for me and Mike, because we would go with it, of course. Yeah. There is a group of people in our society, women, who want to argue that. And they don't want to talk about the Brianna case.
Isn't it
but they want to argue the principle. That's all.
Isn't it very obvious that Rishi Sunak was talking about a political issue because he invoked the 99% line? Now, that was Keir Starmer out of his own mouth. 99.9% of women in this country do not have a penis. So it was clearly a reference to Keir Starmer's political view.
That's fair enough to say. But come on, how clumsy do you have to be as a human being to even go there with Brianna Ghey's mum?
I thought it was clumsy.
Yeah.
I agree.
And it's one of these things, when the wheels come off, the car crashes into everything.
I thought it was clumsy, and he's not fast enough on his feet in Prime Minister's questions. Neither is Keir Starmer. But when Keir Starmer rose from his seat, because remember, most of his life he's been a human rights lawyer and barrister, and then weaponised a very tiny piece of Rishi Sunak criticism of Keir Starmer's policies, he was, in my view, causing great distress to Brianna's mother, who wasn't in the gallery when it was said, but came
about to come in. Yeah. Okay. Well, listen.
Yeah.
Let's pause. We can take a break, and then we'll take your calls on which view you have here, whether this is a despicable remark by Sunak or whether actually Starmer shouldn't be weaponising it.
Thanks for having me. I agree with every word that Jess on your panel has said. Thank goodness for her.
Okay, because it was wrong for Sunak to bring up this issue as a political attack on Starmer in the context. Is that right?
Yes, exactly that. Because the very essence of Brianna Ghey, bless her heart, her identity as female is at the very heart of the matter, and whether he was too ignorant to notice the introduction at the beginning that she was there, her mother, and then there was like a sort of half-hearted thing at the end. But an apology would show dignity and integrity, because it's the very essence. Young transgender people are having a terrible time. And it's Sunak that's fighting the culture wars. And that's that.
OK, Elizabeth, thank you. Shelley is in Newcastle. Hi, Shelley.
Hello.
What do you think? Is Elizabeth right?
Well, I sat and watched it yesterday, and at the end, when Rishi Sunak had finished, people were laughing. Rachel Reeves had a smile on her face. If you watch it back,
I saw that.
It was Keir Starmer dragged it up. I mean, I'm no Rishi Sunak fan, but he's made it a big issue, and I find it offensive if somebody can't say, what is a woman? I'm a woman. TV people, radio people asked Keir Starmer if he could definition a woman, and he couldn't. What are we going to teach our children in schools?
We teach them biology.
Jess will answer that.
We teach them biology in school, but the thing is, transgender people have the right to self-identify in this country. And, 55% rise in transphobic hate in the last year alone in the UK because of culture wars like this. They're vulnerable people, vulnerable community.
Yeah, I mean, Shelley, is it your contention, Shelley, that if
changing rooms, they're trying to change everything for a woman. They're trying to call with cis people, whatever it is. They're trying to get rid of the name woman. I don't hear it against the men. I mean, it's disgusting what's going on. I feel sorry for the trans, but they are a trans woman.
All right, but Shelley, I hear you believe that very strongly, okay? And Jess is responding. Here's the thing, Shelley. We don't have this discussion right in front of Brianna Ghey's mum. That's the whole point, isn't it? And you must see that.
Well, people haven't brought it up. I mean, it was disgusting to bring that up. I thought Keir Starmer, when that poor mother was there, and bringing it up like he did.
Oh, I see. So you could tell it was pure theatre. Right, thank you, Shelley. Thank you, Shelley.
It should have been allowed to just go because it was clumsy. I've already said that, and it was unfortunate. But for Keir Starmer then to get up and say, "Wow, I'm going to use this as a weapon now," and really, mix it around, he should have ignored it.
Anne's in Hertfordshire. Hi, Anne.
Yes, good morning.
What do you think? Because we've got a 2-to-1 view here that Starmer was to blame.
No, I think if we've got a Prime Minister who's got these beliefs, he shouldn't be our Prime Minister. And to have Brianna's mother there listening to all that, she's just buried her child.
Well,
and he should be ashamed of himself.
He made it was
no
a gaffe,
apology to me is acceptable. He's got to stand outside number 10 later today and resign.
All right, thank you, Anne.
The man's an idiot.
Thank you, Anne. Nigel in Warwickshire, you agree? Nigel. You're always there. He's always there, Nigel. I don't believe he's hung up. Mark is in Hampshire. Hi.
Hi, good morning. Yeah, Rishi's got nothing to apologise for. It's called free speech. You know, the irony of it all is, in the last topic, Jess was happily saying Harry's allowed to say his truth. So where's the difference between Rishi stating an actual fact, and it wasn't aimed at anyone, it was just aimed at Starmer, and if he can't take it, then it's just an excuse to try and deflect from the truth.
He's the Prime Minister of our country. He should make everyone feel welcome here, including transgender people. So I just feel like, should he be saying that during PMQs? It's free speech. People have the right to disagree with transgender people. They don't have the right to make their lives a living hell. Like I said, 55% rise of transphobic hate crime in this country because of attitudes like that. You can disagree, but you can't make their life a living hell like it was for Brianna.
Mark, respond to that.
Well, you're saying that I can't disagree, but apparently I can't. I'm not allowed to disagree in your view.
I just said that you could disagree.
Whatever I say against the trans community isn't allowed. You're not allowed to speak up against them.
But Mark, there are some. We're talking about sort of proprieties here, aren't we? Of just tone and kindness, and whether you want to bring that up as a political issue when you've got Brianna Ghey's mother in the same building. That's the issue. It just seems clumsy.
I understand with the issue, but when Rishi didn't actually mention about Brianna,
yeah.
Then he was having a go at Starmer, where he cannot even describe what a woman is.
All right.
Shelley, your previous caller, absolutely hit the nail on the head when it's affecting women in toilets.
Well,
that's not true, though, is it? This fake concern for women's safety. The biggest danger to women in this country is men who are born biological men. We have an epidemic of male violence in this country.
But if
Where are the people talking about that? Transgender women. I don't, as a woman, walk down the street with keys in my hand, scared that a transgender woman is going to attack me. It is biological men.
A biological man may have the right to go into a woman's changing room
if men
in a shop.
wanted to attack someone, he doesn't have to dress
what's
up as
the
a
worst
woman to
crime
do it.
against a woman we've seen in the last week? Somebody throwing acid in someone's face. That was nothing to do with anything trans.
Of course it wasn't. But the point is, we're talking about the transgender issue. We're not talking about criminality. We're talking specifically about the transgender issue.
We've got to move on. Wish I didn't have to, but we've got to talk about the papers and everything else.